So we've had an altar for our ancestors in our house for almost 20 years. I am not from the Mexica culture, but my family and I celebrate Samhain, the pagan holiday that recognizes the time when the veil between the living and the dead is its thinnest. In the pagan culture, like many cultures around the world, it is the time when we recognize those who have died, those who have passed before us, our ancestors, our beloveds. In my family, we always decorate the altar together. It's a family tradition. We have special candles, a special tablecloth, then of course all of the photos in the frames that we pull out each year. With each one that we pull out, we remind each other who they are and our connection with them. We tell stories. Sometimes it's the same story every year, and sometimes we remember different ones. We have other items on here. We have Karen's grandfather's tools, a pocket watch, a special quilt. And to be clear, when I say ancestors, some of them are family and some of them are friends, and all are beloved. There are some family members who don't make it onto my altar. And there are many others who are chosen family, who have prized places there. After we've brought out all of the photos from the past year, we do what needs to be done. We add new ancestors onto the altar. I didn't think I was going to cry. And this year, we added my cousin, Gwyneth Rose May Dance. Now, Gwyneth was a creature. She was something else. She was the only child of my Aunt Naftel and Uncle Hugh from Ottawa Hills in Toledo, Ohio. Since she was an only child, she hung out a lot with my mother and my siblings who lived just a block away, and then was forever part of our immediate nuclear family. She was the one who introduced me to the earth-based traditions, and she also told me everything I know about my ancestors on that side of the family, especially the maze and the dances. She took the dance name many decades ago, and so did I, in honor of our grandmother Azalea Dance and her sister Johnny. Yes, you heard me right, her sister Johnny, who worked as a missionary in the, as Gwenny would say, in the bayous of Louisiana. Gwenny loved to sing songs, read tarot cards, recite poetry, and it was always difficult to differentiate her mischievous side from her sacred side. She embraced all that the hippie culture of the 60s and 70s that San Francisco had to offer, and she made a tremendous difference in the reclaiming tradition of the modern pagan witch culture in the United States. I know for a fact that Gwyneth Rose May Dance is adorning many Samhain altars this year, but I'm the one who gets to call her family. On October 31st this year and every year, we light candles all around our altar. There's not a lot of room left. We're going to need a bigger table, I think. And we put out food that they liked. Over the years, I've put out lima beans for my Grandpa Roy, ice cream for my Grandma Mawinnie, and last year we put out Snickers candy bars for my mom. I think we're going to need to put out a gin martini with 3 olives for Gwenny this year. Doing this is so very important to me and my family. And I think this ritual here at UUCP is so very important for us. I like to embrace the ways that it's countercultural. Because in Western culture, we sterilize death. We tuck it away in a corner. We do not want to look at it. As soon as somebody dies, we want to sweep the body away, remove it in a plastic bag, create a sterile environment. We embalm bodies, and we try to cover up the visible signs of death and decay that are scientifically real and that will happen to all of us. Many religions make funerals more about appeals to being saved than talking about the realities of death and the memories of loved ones. Many people don't use the word dying. They use euphemisms. What are some euphemisms you've heard? Passed on, gone to the other side, gone to a better place. I hate that one. Any other ones you've heard?
Went home.
Went home. Yeah.
Bought the farm.
Kicked the bucket. Yep. Yes, yes. Going 6 feet under, all of these things, instead of saying they died. They died. We all will die. Why are we so wanting to escape that reality of it? Oftentimes, people don't mention people who are dead. Sometimes we don't know what to say to folks who have had folks passed on. We don't say anything at all because we might make them sad or bring up something that they aren't thinking about, even though we know they are. We are constantly thinking of them. So having this ritual, having a day, a season, a celebration when we bring out our dead, we intentionally talk about them, we speak to them if we wish, and we remember them. It's the most important part of that day for many of us. It is countercultural, and we are countercultural, so we should embrace it. I think when my kids were young, I convinced myself I was doing it for them. I wanted them to know who their ancestors were, and I wanted them to have a healthy relationship with death. It's the one thing that will happen to 100% of us and is so challenging for children to understand. My kids would draw pictures of them or would create elaborate scenes with skulls and crossbones and caskets. They would ask me how they died, and we'd talk about death as just a normal part of the process. We didn't hide it, and we didn't make it socially unacceptable. So I thought I was doing it for the kids. But the truth is it's really for me. The kids are long gone from our homes, and yet as soon as October 1st comes, our question is, when are we going to put out the altar? I want to remember my grandmother's apple cobbler and my best friend Keely's snow forts. I want to be comforted by my great-grandma Emily's quilting stories and honoring my friend Dan for how he lived rather than the suicide that ended his life. I want it as a reminder that death is a natural part of life, not something to be feared or denied. All of these things benefit me so deeply. They remind me who shaped me, what my fate is, and how I am part of the great cycle of life that is a miracle, a full-on miracle. So I ask you, what were you taught about death? What were you taught out loud, and what were you taught by actions around it, the unspoken messages? What is your relationship with your ancestors who have passed? How do you keep their memories alive in your family and in your household? What do you want to take from their legacies and bring into your life now? And how can you be countercultural in your relationship with death? Beloveds, we are the breaths of our ancestors. We are but a moment in the great cycle of life and death. Death is a natural process, and those who have died lived on through our memories and our efforts and our love. May your ancestors continue to bring you strength and joy, and may you delight in their memories during this sacred time. So might it be.